back to 6 and 6, where we cover 6 stories from around the world in 6 minutes or less. With that said, start your timer. We begin in Argentina, where the discovery of materials in the Supreme Court have led speculation around the presence of Germans in the country after World War II. Quote, in a startling discovery, Australia's Supreme Court has found 83 boxes of Nazi material in its basement, originally confiscated in 1941 when they were shipped from the German embassy to Tokyo to Argentina aboard the Japanese steamship Maru. Argentina's top courts finds the 80 boxes of Nazi materials in its basement. The article itself is from Reuters. The quote reads, dozens of boxes of Nazi material confiscated by Argentinian authorities during World War II were recently rediscovered in the Supreme Court's basement. Experts also examined them for any clues about still unknown aspects of the Holocaust, such as international financing networks used by the Nazis, end quote. Next, we head to the east, where in Nigeria, a military base has been attacked and soldiers are missing. Suspected Islamist militant attacked a Nigerian army base in Borno State, Marti district, capturing soldiers and ammunition during a raid in the early morning hours. The attack is part of a surge of violence by Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa Province, or ISWAP, that has raised fears of a major jihadist comeback. From Reuters, quote, suspected Islamist militants attacked a Nigerian military base and captured soldiers and ammunition during the raid in the insurgent hit northeastern Borno State. Quote, security experts have attributed the resurgence to a lull in fighting between Boko Haram and the Islamic State-backed ISWAP and the adoption of aerial technology by the groups. A soldier who escaped the attack said the militants arrived on motorbikes and gun trucks and laid siege on the 153 Task Force Battalion base, end quote. And next, we come back across the Atlantic to Mexico, where the central bank is expected to slash interest rates. The Bank of Mexico, or Banxico, is widely expected to cut its benchmark interest rate by 50 basis points to 8.5 at its May 15th meeting, marking the third consecutive cut of a half percentage point. The 31 economists surveyed by Reuters, 30 experts expect the aggressive rate reduction as inflation remains near their target. From Reuters, quote, the Bank of Mexico will likely cut its benchmark interest rate. Mexico's gross domestic product expanded just 0.2% in the first quarter, avoiding a technical recession. And by the 50 basis points at this meeting on May 15th, taking it to 8.5%, they expect growth. Although growth is not part of the central bank's mandate, a weaker outlook is seen adding pressure on the governing board, end quote. We move across the Pacific to Asia, where China hosts Latin America summit and amid a trade war. China is hosting a high-profile summit with Latin America and Caribbean nations this week, including presidents from Brazil, Colombia, and Chile, as a part of the China-CELAC Forum. The gathering comes amid ongoing U.S.-China trade war discussions, with bilateral trade worth $427 billion from January to September 2024. From Reuters, China will host a summit that includes its key Latin America trade partners. China's Xi Jinping will deliver a speech to the summit, and the China-CELAC Forum challenges longstanding American geopolitical and economic dominance in the region, end quote. Next, we go south to Australia, where the business activity has softened. Their numbers for April, amid growing global trade uncertainty, reflects concerns about the economic impact of the ongoing U.S.-China trade tensions. This comes as Prime Minister Albanese's newly re-elected Labour government takes office for a second term. From Reuters, Australia's re-elected government says U.S.-China tussle is a top priority. Australian markets welcome political stability under Labor as Trump 2.0 risks mount. And lastly, we go to a story coming out of Europe, where the Polestar car manufacturer is facing more restrictions from China. And we have a really quick quote here from Reuters, quote, Polestar narrows quarterly loss on cost-saving push, improving demand. And Tesla railed in extended trade. Musk's announcement on stepping back from Doge is welcomed by investors, which also means that Polestar will have more competition. And Audi keeps outlook for the first quarter sales to rise, but tariff impact not included. So Polestar is going to be up against some heavy competition in Europe. And of course, if you want to read any of today's articles in full, all of them will be linked in the description below that like and subscribe button. Also down there, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Podvine, as well as the Twitter handle at Your Daily Flip, where I post links to these episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as well as the normal America-focused, tech, political-focused podcast that comes out at the same YouTube channel right here on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe, don't die.